So the video you're about to see is me attempting to get a dedicated 22 upper to function with a lower that has a super safety on it. I'll get into that later on into the video, but you're gonna hear some contradicting things that I have to say on it, because for the start of this video, my recommendation is don't do this unless this is really your only option of getting an FRT to work, or you're in my position where you already have all your other guns running on FRTs and you'd rather shoot it with 22 to save some coin. It is then worth it. However, after everything is said and done, in order to get to function on a dedicated 22, you're basically buying another dedicated 22 in terms of cost. And so because of that, while it's not inherently overly expensive, you are basically doubling the cost of a 22 that runs perfectly fine on semi-automatic to get it to work with this. So while I like the idea and the concept, I don't think it's for everybody. So take what I do and say with a grain of salt. Never seen that one before. Let's just try it in semi. What was the ammo issue? Through those three, fine. All right, take two on the 22 FRT debacle I am currently in. That 22 upper I've had for a very long time. I built it over the pandemic just so I could have something to shoot, and I love it. It's been a lot of fun. Main reason why I did it is it was extremely affordable. I started out with the CMMG conversion kit. It was all right, struggled in certain areas, but then I eventually built the dedicated 22 upper. I still have a conversion kit. When I purchased the barrel, I purchased the barrel and the bolt together, and so I'm hoping I can also play around with the conversion kit and try to get it to work with the super safety. Now, things to take into note on those videos. That lower that I was utilizing was a Mark 18, or a lower to my Mark 18 with a law folder, so I didn't have a way of doing a buffer plug or anything like that. So it was just the dedicated 22 upper with the trip kit on that lower. So things to take into account: the Bore Buddy trip Yes, it worked. You could see a couple of the videos I had where I was able to run through 10-round magazines. Board Buddy doesn't do a great job of explaining how to adjust the trip kit. So that's something I need to play with. I was hoping not to adjust it with that lower because I need to work on my dedicated 22 lower to get a super safety functioning in it. And that's just, I have to mill out the back end of it to allow the arm to go down. So that's gonna be something that I work on. And then past that point, I shouldn't have any issues with the bolt bounce back and forth with that buffer in the back, because I have a dedicated 1913 rail that pushes on the back end, so we don't lose a lot of pressure in the chamber. From there, I apologize, I'm doing this video in between things I got to get done at work. Anyway, from there, other things to take into account. The ammunition seems to be a big deal with trying to run the FRT. That upper runs pretty much anything I've put through it in semi-automatic. So that is nice. However, when you go into the FRT mode, it is then relatively picky. Now, when I say relatively picky, it ran most of the stuff that I had, but it ran into those hiccups, which I believe needs to be circumvented through additional modifications. But I can tell that when it did run, it was only with subsonic ammunition, which isn't that big of a deal. I prefer running subsonic 22, but I do have a lot of standard velocity, what have you, whether it's Federal or CCIs. Another thing, it is extremely picky when it comes to magazine selection. The CMMG mags that I have are the I think they're the Gen 1s. They're not good magazines. I don't like to use them because on my dedicated 22 lower, it has a bolt catch that will not work with those magazines. And so I need to increase the inventory that I have of either Smith & Wesson magazines or the new CMMG 22 magazines, which I will do at some point. The only Smith & Wesson magazine I had on me that day was that 10-rounder, and it worked to the best. So another thing with 22s, they need to be cleaned. That's a big ordeal with these kits, is you got to be able to eat off of them. They need to be as clean as possible, and they have to be well lubricated. Honestly, just like dripping in order to run at its peak performance. So with that being the case, things that I need to do, and I'll keep y'all posted as I do it, is I need to put together that lower to where it is dedicated for that upper so I can tune the trip properly. And that is on me. Another thing is, I think you 100% need the bolt bounce kit, not just the buffer. You need the bolt bounce kit, the charging handle tray. I already have one. I have a 3D printed one. It's not all that great, so when I purchase everything, I'm just going to order a new one from Board Buddies because theirs is going to be better than the one I have. So I'm going to order the whole pistol kit, which I'm hoping can kind of transfer into the conversion kit bolt that I have, because I'll try it on a couple 16 inches. I have a 20-inch AR that I can try it on. I'll try it on a bunch of different ARs that I'm okay with running 22 through, excuse me. I have a couple nicer guns that I don't want to run 22 through, and I don't want to run 22 through any of my 5.56 or 30 cal cans. And so I'll stick specifically with my cheaper guns that I don't really care about it dirtying up the barrel that bad. And so the bolt bounce kit, the weight kit, so that you don't have, as the bolt goes backward and forward, bouncing. Other thing is ejection. It happened once while I was there. I actually really haven't had this issue before starting with the super safety, is the ejector wasn't catching on one of the rounds that got stuck in the chamber, and so that needs to be upgraded, and I think we need to upgrade the spring. And that's the reason why I did all the math through Board Buddy. If I were just to upgrade the parts I need, I'm spending the same amount as if I just bought the entire pistol kit. So I'm going to buy the entire pistol kit. I'll keep y'all posted on that front. I will purchase more subsonic 22 ammunition, just different brands to give a try, because I have a lot of CCI, and I have another one that I forget the brand. I purchased it through Board Buddy though. I need to stress this: in no way am I crapping on Board Buddy with them not having information on the trip or anything like that. I think they are an awesome company. They're doing really, really cool things. They're very innovative for a product that doesn't have a lot of innovation around it, except for in the 3D printing sphere. And so because of that, I actually love the company. I just wish that there was a little bit more information out there. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. So I will keep you updated as I go through this process. And yeah, we'll see what we can accomplish with this 22. I'm hoping to get it to run relatively flawlessly. It is a plinker. It is not something that I am necessarily trusting with anything. It's just a really fun night vision gun, and I want to be able to shoot really fast under night vision. And you can get 22 tracers for relatively cheap, and that is a blast under night vision. So I'll make sure to put some videos of that up once I get this squared away. But until then, thank you for watching, and I will keep you posted as I move forward with this. Thank you.